Hello everyone. Welcome to the new session of Morphology of the Flowering Plant. This is the NCERT revision of this chapter. In this part, we are going to cover roots. Okay. So in angiosperm, we see the structure of different parts of the plants. Like we can see roots, we can see stem, leaves, flowers and fruits. So we are going to study about the structure or the morphology of the flowering plants. So angiosperms show such a large diversity in the external structure. So this chapter is going to cover up the external structure, or this is also called as the morphology of the flowering plants. Okay, so angiosperm shows such a large diversity in the external structure or the morphology. They are all characterized by the presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers and fruits. So we are going to study about these external structures in great detail in this chapter. So why we are studying this? What is the importance of this morphology or the external structure? It helps in recognition and identification of plants. So if we are having a plant which we do not recall or identify, we can study about its root structure, what type of roots they are having, its stem structure, what type of stems, leaves, what is the phyllotaxy of the leaves, what is the arrangement of the leaves, what is the venation of the leaves. Okay, so we will study about the leaves. Then we will go to the flowers. Okay, what type of flower, that is a pentamerous or trimerous. So, and also about the fruits. When you all know about all these structure, external structure of a plant, then you can identify that particular plant and you can place it in a respective family. So this is very important to helps in recognition and identification of the plants. It also helps in classification of the plants. When you know the family, when you know the order, when you know the class, you can classify that plant. Okay. It also gives the information about the range of variation found in the species. So it has some of the similarity with some plants, but at the same time it will have a variation also. So you can find out what type of variation this particular plant is having with the other plants. So this is the importance of morphology. It helps in recognition and identification. It helps in classification, and it also helps to find out the variation in the species. Okay, so we will study about the root in this particular session. In this session, we are going to study about the roots of morphology, roots of the angiospermic plants. In majority of the dicotyledonous plants, the direct elongation of the radicle leads to the formation of primary root which grow inside the soil. So if I draw a dicotyledonous seed, so you all know dicotyledonous seed means it is having two cotyledons. It is having two cotyledons. So this is plumule and this is the radicle. This is the radicle. This is cotyledons. Cotyledons. This is plumule and this is radicle. This is radicle. So this radicle gives the direct elongation of the primary root. This will form the primary root. Okay, and it grows inside the soil. So it bears lateral roots of several orders. Now when it grows, when this seed grows, its roots elongate. It's plumule that makes the shoot system. This makes the shoot system. It elongate and make the shoot system. Now this radical elongate and forms the root system. Now this root system, it will have one main root and it will have second order of the root. Then it will have third order of root. This is the primary one. Okay, like this, you will have a different orders of the roots that will be considered as secondary, tertiary roots. Okay, so this is like how the roots form in the plant. The primary roots and its branches constitute the taproot system. Now, it forms a system. When we talk about a dicotyledonous plants, then it forms a particular system of root, and that is called as taproot system. Very important, and is seen in the mustard plant. This is an example of a dicotyledonous plant which is showing the taproot system. And this is taproot is always primary roots. It is always a primary root. Okay, so here you can see this is a mustard plant root. This is the main root, or you can say primary root. Okay, now these are the lateral branches, secondary. Now it will give rise one more level of branching root, that will be the tertiary one. So secondary and tertiary roots are the branches of the first and second order respectively. They are formed in the acropetal succession. So now when you, suppose I'm drawing a root. This is a taproot or the primary root. Now it will give certain order of roots like this. Secondary roots. This is also secondary roots. Secondary roots. Secondary roots like this. Now it will give tertiary roots. Now this is showing acropetal succession. If you move from up to the lower direction, then it is showing the acropetal succession. Means the older roots are at this level. This is the level of soil at this level, and the younger roots, younger secondary and tertiary roots will be at the lower level. This is called acropetal succession. Okay. Now, there are certain modification of taproot. We will see different modification of the taproot system. So, taproot becomes swollen and fleshy that stored food. So, sometimes the taproot perform the function of storage of food. All the food gets stored in the taproot. So, it becomes swollen and fleshy. But their shape varies in the different plants. So according to the shape they acquire, some are conical in shape. Some are conical, like this you can see here, a cone shape. This is a cone shape, like in carrot. Example is carrot. Fusiform. It is not a cone shape, but here it tapers like this, swollen, and again it tapers at the pointed form. So this is a fusiform. Example is radish. Next is napiform. Napiform is formed in turnip. So here you can see swollen and then it tapers as a tail like, and it also has certain branching. So this is found in turnip. In Hindi we call it shaljam. Tuberous root. Mirabilis jalapa. Example is Mirabilis jalapa. So it is a tuberous, or you can see tuber like structure. This is found in Mirabilis jalapa. So all are fleshy and swollen, but they are having different shapes, and according to the shape, they can be conical, they can be fusiform, they can be napiform, and they can be tuberous root. So example, you must learn about it. So this is fleshy taproot. Now, they also form nodulated structures, and that is why they are called as nodulated roots. This is very, very important. Root form nodules like a structure. Here you can see nodules like a structure. So if this is a tap root, it gives rise secondary roots like this, and later it gives rise tertiary even. Now, at the secondary level, you can see nodules like a structure. Not only here, you can see it at a primary level even. So, in this nodules, when you cut this nodule, you will find it is filled with lots and lots of bacteria. It is filled with bacteria. So, generally, they occur in papilionaceous plant. That is a family called Papilionaceae. They occur in papilionaceous plant. For example, Pisum sativum, pea plant. In Hindi, we call as matar. So, pea plant is having such type of nodulated roots. Gram, Cicer eratinum, that is chana. Okay. Secondary tertiary root sometimes develops nodules that encloses nitrogen fixing bacteria. So, excuse me. So, they contain nitrogen fixing bacteria. Nitrogen fixing bacteria. For example, rhizobium. It fixes the atmospheric nitrogen and make it available to the plants. So, they are nodulated roots. Pneumatophore, this is very unique and it is found in very, you can say the plant which are grown at the seashore. They are breathing or respiratory roots which are found in the plants growing in the mangroves or the saline swamps. Okay, so mangroves and saline swamps near the seashore. Examples are Avicennia and Heritaria. The horizontal roots develop upright aerial roots or the pneumatophore. So what happened? Sometime, suppose this is the swamp area, salty swamp area, and this is the main tree or plant. Now, its roots will comes out like this. And in this root, there are lots and lots of small holes. If I draw like this, then they are having some holes in it. Now, these holes are called as pneumatophores. Now, these pneumatophores takes up the water vapor which is present in the atmosphere. Though water is present in this marsh area or the seashore area, but that is saline, that is salty water. So they do not take that water. Instead, they absorb the atmospheric water through these small holes present at their roots. Okay. Okay, so till here we talked about the taproot system. Okay, now the second type of roots, and taproot is found in dicotyledonous plant. So till here, whatever the modification we have seen in the taproot, that was present in the dicotyledonous plant. But this fibrous root that is found in monocotyledonous plant. That is found in monocotyledonous plants. The primary root is short-lived and it is replaced by the large number of roots. So here, if it is the base, these are the leaves. So this is the base of the plant. This is the level of the soil. So from this particular base, many roots arises. Many roots arises like this. And this is called fibrous roots. This is called fibrous roots. These roots originate from the base of the stem and constitute the fibrous root system as seen in the wheat plant. The third type of root is the adventitious roots. In some plants like grass, monstera and the banyan tree, roots arises from the parts of the plant other than radicle and are called as adventitious roots. So in both the cases, whether it is a tap root system or it is a fibrous root system, the root has been originated from the radicle. Radicle forms the root. Radicle which originate from the seed. Okay, that forms if it is a dicot plant, then it will form the tap root system. If it is a monocotyledonous plant, then that radicle will form the fibrous root system. But this adventitious roots do not comes out from the radicle. It comes out from the other parts of the plant. Okay, it can be underground or it can be aerial. Like this, adventitious roots are present on the underground part of the plant as well as the aerial. They generally develop from the stem nodes and sometimes internodes. Even the leaves sometimes give rise the adventitious roots. So here you can see one of the plant. Okay, and at the nodal region, this is the nodes. At the nodal region, you can see lots and lots of roots coming out. Okay, so this is adventitious roots. Horizontal stem of creepers. Creepers are weak plants. Okay, so they generally creep on the ground like this. Like example, mint, grass. Okay, like this. So here you can see adventitious roots coming out from the nodal region. Okay, so horizontal stem or the creepers often develop adventitious roots from the nodes. For example, grass. Branch cutting and leaf cutting. Example, rose, sugarcane and tapioca etc. develop adventitious roots when placed in the soil. So sometimes the leaf cutting, sometimes the branch cutting also give rise the roots, and that is adventitious roots. As you have seen in the case of rose. So rose, what we do, we take a stem cutting. This is a stem of rose and we put it in the soil. So later what happened, at this particular point, some roots comes out and it later forms the whole plant. New branches also comes out. So what type of roots are these? These are the adventitious roots. Okay. Functions of roots. So we have covered the three different types of roots: taproot system, fibrous root system and adventitious root system. The main function of the root system are absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So this is the main function. Okay. They helps in absorption of water, they helps in absorption of minerals. Providing proper anchorage to the plant parts. When the root goes deep inside the soil, okay, it's give rise to the secondary and tertiary level of the branching of the roots. It holds the soil firmly and helps to proper anchorage to the plant parts. Storing reserve food material, as you have seen in the case of modification of the taproots, they store food material. And synthesis of plant growth regulators. Some plant growth regulators, hormone, this you will study in a separate chapter, that there are certain plant growth regulators that are formed in the roots that are very helpful for the growth of the plants. Okay, so they store the food material as well as they helps in forming the growth regulators. So we are having different regions of the roots. Okay, the root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called root cap. So here you can see this particular region. This particular region is a root cap. Okay. A few millimeter above the root cap is the region of the meristematic activity. Now, this particular region, this one, it is having the region of meristematic activity. What is meristematic tissue? Meristematic tissue are the tissue of growth. It divide and redivide and forms the number of tissue. Now, when the tissue is added here, the roots go deep down. Means the growth of the root is because of this particular activity, that is the meristematic activity. The cell proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root length. So this particular part, when the new cells are added, okay, due to the meristematic activity, now that cells undergo elongation. Okay, that undergo elongation and responsible for the growth of the root of the length. So this is called as the region of elongation. This particular part is called as the region of elongation. So the root cap, in the root cap region, there is a small region of meristematic activity. Then above this, there is a region of elongation. Okay. Next, the proximal region of elongation, the proximal to the region of elongation is called the region of maturation. This particular part. Now, when these cells get elongated, now they undergo maturation and it gives rise to lots of root hairs. When they become mature, they give rise to root hairs. So that is region of maturation. Some of the epidermal cells form very fine and delicate thread-like structures called root hairs. Like this, they form the root hairs. So, region of maturation are responsible for the formation of root hairs. So, sometimes the question can be asked, in which of the following region of the root hairs are present? Region of maturation, region of elongation, region of meristematic activity, or root cap. So the answer will be region of maturation. Okay, now this is something beyond the NCERT, but this is very important. Mechanical support. Some roots are responsible for providing the mechanical support to the plant. So the prop roots or the pillar roots. Prop roots or the pillar root. You can see here, these are what? These are the roots called as prop roots. Called as prop roots. They are thick pillar-like adventitious roots. Adventitious roots which grow and form support heavy horizontal branch. Now you can see these branches are so heavy, they need a support. So what happened? Some adventitious roots comes out and they grow downwards and reaches to the soil and get attached to it. So such a unique structure. Okay. So, adventitious roots are responsible for the formation of the prop roots or the pillar roots. Initially, the roots are aerial and hygroscopic. So, when they are not reached up to the level of the root, they are hanging in this air only. So, at that time, they are called as aerial and they are hygroscopic. Hygroscopic means they absorb water from the atmosphere. As root reaches to the soil, they become thick and pillar-like, and due to that, it got its name pillar roots or prop roots. Okay. Next, Stilt roots, very important. If you have seen the sugar cane, at the basal region, the nodes give rise to roots like this. So these are what? These are stilt roots. These are stilt roots. They are short but thick supporting roots which develop from the basal nodes of the stem. In sugarcane, maize and sorghum, stilt roots grows in the whorls. So here you can see at the nodal region, they comes out in the form of whorls like this. And after penetrating the soil, they develop fibrous root which hold them soil firmly. So why they are present? Actually, when the sugarcane become a long stem like this, the fibrous roots are here at the soil. And it is so long that it may fall. So for the support, basal nodal region give rise to some roots in this form and they reaches to the soil and they provide support to the plant to be erect and do the process of photosynthesis, because if they fall down, the leaves will not get proper sunlight and the photosynthesis rate will be affected. So to keep the plant erect, these stilt roots comes out and attach to the soil and make the plant erect. So how interesting it is. Stilt roots. Clinging or the climbing roots. So here you can see whether it is a prop root, whether it is a stilt root or the clinging or the climbing root, we are just going to study about it. These are all giving mechanical support. They are providing mechanical support to the plants. So they are non-absorptive adventitious roots which are found in the climbers. Creepers, we have studied about the creepers like just now, that the creepers, like for example the grass and the mint, they creep on the ground and at the nodal region they give rise roots like this called as adventitious roots. Okay, so here now the climbers, they are also weak plant but they take support, some support, and at the region of the support they give rise some roots. Okay, so they are non-absorptive, they are adventitious roots and they may arise from the nodes. For example, beetle, in Hindi we can say pan. Okay, an internode, ficus plant. The clinging roots penetrates the cracks or the fissures for the support. So they just get support, they get attached to the support and keep the plant erect. It moves in this direction. Okay, so this is the clinging or the climbing roots. Vital function. So till here we have seen the mechanical support. Mechanical support is given by the three different types of roots. Prop roots, prop roots, clinging roots and stilt roots. Vital functions. Assimilatory function. Assimilatory means the roots that perform the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so they are called as assimilatory roots. They are green roots which are capable of photosynthesis. For example, trapa. Okay, water chestnut, trapa. Now here you can see these roots. These roots are photosynthetic. Okay, these roots are photosynthetic. So that is why they are called assimilatory roots. So some roots also do the process of photosynthesis. Hostorial or parasitic roots. Hostorial or parasitic roots. So the roots occur in the parasites for absorbing nourishment of the host. So what happened? The examples are Amarbel, Kaskuta. So they get a haustoria-like structure and that penetrate deep inside the tissue of the host and absorb the nourishment. So they are called sucking roots or suckers. Okay. Epiphytic or the aerial roots. So they occur in epiphytes. Those plants group are called as epiphytes that live on the surface of the other plant. But they are not parasite. They are not parasite. They just get attached to the surface of the plant so that they can get proper sunlight and they can perform their process of photosynthesis. Because when they are present at the lower level, the sunlight could not reach up to that plant. And what happened? The plant may die. So what they do? They get attached to the upper surface of some of the tree. Okay. And epiphytes bear three types of roots. They are having three different types of roots. Clinging roots, that just for fixation. Clinging roots just for fixation. So suppose there is a epiphyte, so they will have clinging roots. Now they get attached to this. Absorbing, for absorption minerals and salt, and hygroscopic roots. Absorption from the atmosphere. Like this. Okay. So this is all about the root. We have studied so many types of roots. In the dicot, we are having the taproot system. In the monocot, we are having the fibrous root system. Apart from the taproot and the fibrous root, we are also having adventitious roots. Okay. And we have seen certain roots that provide the mechanical support. Certain roots are assimilatory in function, and certain are just for the support or attachment. That comes under the vital functions. So this is all about the roots in the flowering plants. We will meet with one more interesting session. Till then, thank you very much.